All right, guys, we're gonna get going on getting this engine out. For all you guys that keep giving me crap about not using power tools, we're gonna use some power tools. Let's get started. I got the time lapse set up, got the GoPro there. Let's get this thing out, see how long it takes. Right now it is 4:12 p.m. and we are 2 subscribers away from 15,000. Alright guys, so it's about 5:37 right now. It's about an hour and 20 minutes later. It's just about ready to come out. I have to undo the power steering pump line and the motor mount bolts and the trans bolts. So basically that's all I got to do and then it's going to come out. Okay guys, ready for the good news and the bad news? Bad news is, GoPro was just about to die, so I put it on the charger for a little bit, but the good news is, while I'm working in the garage, 15,000 subscribers, we just broke that. That's a huge milestone for this channel. About a third of that growth has been in the last year, so thank you guys for sticking with me through this mess. We build it, we break it, we fix it, we build it, we break it, we fix it. Let's keep going. I was kind of worried a little bit when there's an unexpected noise. We got the transmission up on a jack and all kinds of stuff. Just don't want to break nothing. Listen to me, don't want to break nothing, so let's jam fucking 80 pounds of boost through the engine and just see what happens. Just for giggles. I don't know if it was 80 pounds, but it was probably pretty high. Probably 30 at least. I don't know, maybe more. It was about 15 psi at 52% throttle when I scanned it. And it wasn't scanning, unfortunately, when I blew it up, so my pull-out game is pretty strong here. That's why I have 3 kids. Could have been more. Oh, yeah, cool. Catch all that fluid just to dump it right back on the floor. Good boy. Good boy. Shwink. That's about it, boys. I mean, there's really not a whole lot to it. Let's look at the time. Time is 7:22. So I started at 4:12, so just about 3 hours. But I stopped for a while because I had to charge that camera back up. So I stopped for probably almost an hour. All right, guys, well, there's the hole. There's a hole right by the crank sensor. This actually, whatever this hole was from, ripped the wiring right out. So there's a big hole there. I'll tell you what, guys, there's only 2 things. The top 2 things I dislike about working on this kind of stuff. When I can't find what I'm looking for, and fluids. Dealing with fluids. Filling them, draining them, pulling the engine is like the fluids, dealing with the fluids is like the worst part for me. I don't know. Get this oil pan off. On the front. That one was tight. Oh man, look at all these pieces. There's a lot of pieces. There's a whole bunch in the pickup tube. This windage tray is just absolutely destroyed. I'd say that did a pretty good job catching all that wind that was flying around in there. Pretty good job. Well, here is one of them. Found the other one in the ditch. Wow, I cannot believe how these bearings still actually feel pretty darn good. Like they're not loose, or these look damaged from chunks flying around in there. Oh yeah, one of the rods is bent. This one's broken. So broke 3 rods. Bent the turd out of this one. Yeah, broke the number 7. Number 8 is good. Doesn't, well, looks a little bent. So the number 8 is actually bent. You can see that's kind of twisted there. A lot of chunks, a lot of damage. The number 7 is completely gone. The rod is gone. You can see the rest of it kind of hanging out way back in there. Five and 6 are a little bent, but other than that, don't look too bad. Holy cow! I'm kind of excited about this. This is interesting. All right, so yeah, these are pretty bad. I don't know if I can reuse these or no. What do you guys think? Should I try to reuse those? What I am really kind of happy about though is, well, I don't know if I'm happy or disappointed about it, that these bearings still seem like really good. I thought maybe I was starting to get like coolant in the oil and it was starting to wear out the bearings and causing some wobbles, but I don't think that was actually happening. So maybe I was just paranoid for no reason and toasted it. Hold on. Now I think I got everything. Well, there's your problem right there. Spark plug's bent. These two are pretty bad. Back two aren't so bad. Man, this one might have a broken ring or something because it looks like it's all the way over to the side wall, like cylinder wall. But the piston, the face of the piston actually looks like really good. I was expecting to see like cracked or pitted from detonation or something, but there's just a bunch of chunks of metal flying around in there. Probably because they were getting sucked in through the intake because there's actually a bunch of chunks of metal in the intake also. So I think they were getting pushed in through the valves and flying through all the cylinders. But these two you saw in the head, they look really good. This one looks really good too, aside from the metal chunks that were in there. And you can see it just kind of working its way through. Clean these up and then I'll show you guys. So check this out. This is the number 6. This is the one I actually replaced because it was, we got the hole in it. There was a bolt that went through it. This one looks like flawless. This one looks really good too, besides the metal chunks that were flying around in there, which probably came from this cylinder, came through the valves in the intake, and then into here as they were working their way back. But even this one has a little bit of some dings on it and stuff from some metal. But it looks really good. Like, it's not cracked, nothing. All right, guys, this is the driver's side. So we got the number 7 rod was broken, and the number 1 rod was broken. These rods are bent, but look at the pistons. They're like freaking perfect. There's nothing wrong with them. Even though these are broken, you can see where they kind of kiss the valves here. But other than that, they look pretty good. It's kind of wedged in there. This one's loose. Let me try to get this one out. Oh. Let me clean this off. I just got a bunch of oil dry on it. There's inside the cylinder. Doesn't really even look that bad. Just a bunch of chunks inside there. These pistons look really good. And look at this thing. Except for these 2 little marks on the top. I mean, the rings are still even loose in here. So I know a lot of guys are commenting thinking that the rings bound up and pushed the piston up. That didn't happen on any of them. It looks like the rods just went. So Gen 4 rods and toss the snot at it again, I guess. These marks, I thought it was from the valves. It's actually from the head. Right here, it came up and smacked the head. Valves are good. There's some metal chunks stuck inside there, so they're down a little bit, but yeah, that's that mark right there. Just came up and kissed the head. This mark right here. There and there, the curve here and there. That's what that line is. Kind of funny. All right, guys. So that's it for this one. After pulling this thing apart, what I kind of thought happened to the engine didn't happen. It looks kind of more like the rods just cave out, and the weak point would be the rods, I guess, because there was a lot of boost going through it, and it was a very fun few seconds. But I definitely thought that the pistons were going to be more damaged than that. The number 1 was destroyed, but probably because it was getting chopped up by the crank and tossed around. This is good. I mean, so out of all of the pistons, only one of the pistons was actually broken on the top of the piston, and that was the number 1 that got chopped up by the rod. But other than that, there wasn't any damage to the tops of the pistons. The skirts on the bottom were damaged, of course, because there was metal chunks flying around everywhere, and there was some damage on the top, but that was from metal chunks from piston 1 flying around through the valves and stuff. Other than that, it doesn't look like there was there's no pitting or anything like that. I don't know, but other than that, I'm pretty happy to see this, and I was planning on doing Gen 4 rods in the next build, so I guess I'm a little bit more confident now that it'll hold the power with the Gen 4 rods, and glad we did this little test. So have fun, guys.